This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's another NFC East show, our 100th episode, at least so far, we think. We think we've been around for 100 episodes, guys. Hey, happy birthday.
Wow, 100 episodes.
Who would have thought we would have made it that far?
Whoops.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, a lot of stuff happened this week. Of course, probably the most stuff happened to the team that's not here. Happy birthday, Mrs. Porkrine. It's her
happy birthday.
So she is not, or he is not going to be here. Porkrine's not going to be here tonight. But they, instead of getting rid of their coach, said, "Jack, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more."
How do you say scapegoat without saying scapegoat?
So I've heard rumors that, Jack is not the easiest person to get along with. And I will tell you that when you're losing, you definitely don't want to have a butthead in the room.
Right. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that he's not the easiest one to get along. But I actually thought it was going to be Rivera being shown out. And the fact that they did Del Rio, I think is just putting a pause inevitable.
Yes.
Well, it also goes to show you the seriousness of where the NFL teams are lying, because you look at what Carolina did in comparison to what Washington did. It tells you, the state of the NFL and where they are as far as the coaching staff, and especially in Week 12.
And I feel bad.
I don't think that owner knows what he's doing. I mean, look, Frank Wright, this is his first year. I'm sorry, Philly. I would not. I mean, I'm on the outside looking in. If he offered me a coaching job, you damn right I'm going to take it. But if I was in the business of if I was like a familiar face in the NFL, I would be concerned. I wouldn't be so eager to work for an owner such as this guy. I don't know. I just wouldn't. There's just something about him that I don't like how he handled his business. I'm just gonna say it like that.
I agree with that. I agree with that whole thing. I feel like Frank Reich, first off, this all goes back to the owner in the first place. The owner wanted C.J. Stroud. Yeah, and they said no. Like I think that it was, or he wanted C.J. Stroud, and they said no. So that's where it all comes down to.
Yeah,
You know,
you have to look at the outcome of that alone and say, okay, well, this is what the kid's doing now with Houston. We could have had this, but when everybody hyped up the 1 and 2s, it just didn't work out that way.
big shout out to Mario from Australia. Say hello. And Pork Rind has got the birthday with the wife's birthday, and the wife does not wait for football. So,
That's true.
So happy birthday, Mrs. Pork Rind. Is it Mrs. Rind? Is Pork would be his first name, Rind be the last name, or would it be whole Pork Rind?
That's a good question.
There you go. Hey, listen. So since we don't have really much to talk about with Washington, obviously that was a I mean, really, we could talk about how Dallas. I mean, it was a lot closer in the first half. I kind of think.
That's what I was saying last week, that we're going to keep it somewhat close just to get a feel for what was going on with the offense.
So, and then I mean, obviously the guy who comes in for Diggs, winds up getting his 6th pick 6.
Yep.
Right.
And at one point, like, you start to say, all right, is how much of it's luck? How much of it is it because they don't want to throw the other way? And how much is it that done through bad quarterback play?
It's a combo of all.
I think it's a combination of, but also and I'm not trying to diminish what Bland is doing, but just let's look at the teams that he's doing it against. The Rams, who else was it? The Patriots. Again, I'm not trying to diminish, but I would say that I would hold more value. I mean, if he did it against Seattle this week, tomorrow, again, and then, next week against the 49ers, if he goes against a top tier team, that aren't common in making those type of mistakes, then I'd hold more value.
Well, but, it's not even, this is the NFL. Everyone has their, everyone's a professional, but you have to give him some credit, if not all the credit.
Of course, because he got him. No, I give it to you. No, I'll give it to him.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When he first came on the scene, I at the draft at 5th round, I was happy that I was glad with the pick, because he was a sure cover, one-on-one type of guy. The thing about what he's done over this past years with these INTs and returning them back, I mean, getting an interception is hard enough. Getting a touchdown makes it even crazier. So regardless of what team he's played against, there's other teams that are playing against these exact teams, against these exact quarterbacks. So it goes to his credit that he does have some skill set at the corner position. It's just interesting, where he's at this year with the injury to Diggs and his counterpart on the other side. So I'm glad he got the chance. I knew he would do what he would be doing. Not as many pick 6s as I thought, but being a cover 1, I think he's shown us where he's at.
How many does your housemate think he's going to have this upcoming week?
My housemate.
Oh, I thought you had a friend over.
Craig, yeah. yeah, he's downstairs. Oh, we really haven't even talked that much about the game at all.
So no, does
he not want to talk about it? Does he be like, no, I want to stay friends?
We
this whole trip.
Yes, he just got here an hour ago. So
got you. So, but yeah, I kind of think, like I said, watching that game, and I mean, I watched it for a little while. Obviously, it was just by the time I turned it on, it was like, all right, they were 3 and out and score, and then pick 6 score. I was like, it's like I'm tired of watching this game already, and it was just I watched it for a few minutes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it got ugly in the middle of the third quarter.
Yeah, and I'm glad I was there for that pick six. It's just history in the making. It's just when generations of talk about it. I mean, it doesn't happen too often. You look at the stats of other NFL inductees into the Hall of Fame, and I'm not saying Hall of Fame material. I'm not saying any of that. But when those guys are given recognition to the same position player, it's pretty cool seeing from the lens of history.
Right. So I'm going to ask this question because as ear to the ground, listening to the mess that's out there.
There's a lot of
How
that.
do you feel? Exactly, there is a lot. How do you feel about? Now, we're gonna pose these questions to all of us here today.
Okay.
How do you feel about the fact that the Cowboys have not beaten a above 500 team?
I'm not too worried about it. I'm not worried about it at all. It's just the schedule that's in front of us. Now, yes, we did lose to San Francisco and we did lose to the Eagles, but
And the
this is
Cardinals.
and the Cardinals, but this is a 17 game, season. And we've all said it at the beginning of this season and in the middle of this season. And he's even as far as back as last week saying we don't win the championship until we get to the playoffs. So, yeah, I understand we haven't got there yet with those 500 teams. But again, that's a schedule. We'll find out tomorrow when we play the Seahawks. And then again, we got you guys after the week following. So I'm not
is
worried
there
about it.
concern at this game?
Not so much a concern from a standpoint of, what are we going to do offensively, defensively. I think we've got that handled. I think Dak and the offense is pushing along due to McCarthy's play calling and letting Dak be Dak. So no, there's no real big concern. It is the NFL any given Sunday, but
Or Thursday.
I haven't heard any concerns out of it. And I know the Seahawks right now are having some injuries, and I know there's some injuries on their side of the ball, but I'm as far as concerns, no.
I don't think you guys should be concerned. And I'm just now starting to understand the betting line. Okay. I'm going to say right now, I'm going to pick the Seahawks, but I do believe the Cowboys can win. They got you at 9-point dogs right now, 9-point favorites. And I think this will be the first test of 5. And the question is, it depends on what Seattle team is going to step up. And you're right. I think to worry about any other game past tomorrow is a mistake.
Yep.
Just focus on Seattle. And if you can get past Seattle, then there's a tougher road ahead. I'm really intrigued and interested in the Philly 49ers game. I know we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But right now, and I'm loving the fact that we're on a bye. Okay, so I don't have to worry about us.
Yeah,
I'm glad we got the win. I'm glad homeboy missed the field goal. So, we're on track to be 9-8, like I predicted all year long. Yep, forget about it.
You manifested it.
I did. I manifested.
I heard you say it.
I told everybody on that live. I said, let's manifest wide left. Yes. And the fact, and then Nick was like,
and then
that
it went wide left. Like it wasn't just wide left; it was wide
left. Yeah,
he was in the right hash mark.
It was way. I'm so glad, but I'm really. I mean, this week I know we're talking about the Cowboys right now. Of course, I want you guys to go out in a blazing saddle of glory. But I mean, I don't know. You guys are tough at home. You're undefeated at home. However, to Philly's point, you haven't played a winning team at home yet. So this is a big test. And we'll see.
It is. And again, I don't think any of the players are taking it lightly. I think they're going into the work week full steam ahead. And it's just one of those things, just, getting to the game healthy, coming out healthy. And that's what I really liked about last week's game was, walking into the situation healthy, coming out of it healthy, and looking at the players' mentality after that. And it's been still business for these guys. If you know, watching them on social media, watching them on interviews, watching what they're doing outside of the workplace, they're still, you know, studying the game per se and in the film room. And I can see where these guys are coming together as a team. And if you heard Dak this week, I mean, he was out there saying he doesn't give a what about where he's at right now. It's about the future and where the games are going to be going for the playoffs.
Yeah, Dak should not be thinking about the playoffs right now.
Correct.
Dak should think he should be thinking about Seattle, because the way I see it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's not worried about the playoffs right now. He's taking this one game at a time.
So if the playoffs were to start today,
we'd have,
and you guys would hold on a sec. I do have that. It would
Atlanta.
Right. So you guys would, I mean, you'd be favored, right? You'd be favored in that game. And then in the divisional round, guess who you'd be playing against? If
The
it
Eagles.
went is it the Eagles? No, it wouldn't be the Eagles. It would be the 49ers. Because you guys are the 4th seed. And that's if if it played out the way it would, if the Eagles were the top seed,
they would be the 5th seed actually. So
it'd either play the
Atlanta,
7th or the So wait, am I wrong? So because that's right, because Dallas is the 5th seed.
Right, they would wind up playing the Eagles if everybody held serve.
So then you'd be the Eagles. Oh, okay. Then I looked at it wrong, because I was looking at the 2nd seed. Well, that's right, because then it'd have to be an upset. Minnesota would have to beat the 49ers, and that's not going to happen.
No, not the Minnesota 49ers game, but
if Seattle were to beat Detroit, then Seattle would go up to Philly, and then the Cowboys would be playing the Niners. And I don't think you guys want to play the Niners again. That I don't think you guys want to. In the divisional round, I
wouldn't. At this point, it wouldn't bother me.
You got to get to there first. It's like we still got lots of football to occur. Yeah, I mean, the 49ers had an injury in their secondary this past week. He's out for the season.
Yep. Hell of a player. Player.
Who got taken out?
I don't even know his name. I just know that he was the starting quarterback, and he's out for the season.
He's and
that's going to be a big deal. I mean, that's a hole now that gets filled. Yeah, that's got to get filled, and they've got the people to do it. It's just a matter of still making it happen. You know what I mean? Obviously, It's still going to be a big deal. So yes, Todd, I will be in Seattle. But I mean. So let's talk about your game real quick. The snooze fest, sneaky.
I think we all called that though, didn't we?
Didn't we call it a snooze fest? It was a no. I have no nails left.
I said that I didn't think there was going to be a touchdown scored. Yeah. I was almost right.
Yeah. That's what we were all saying, that it was going to be a field goal fest. And what was it that got you that 7? Was it an INT? Was it a
no? It was a touchdown. DeVito threw a touchdown to Hodges.
But it was a short field though, right? It was like a very short.
It wasn't a bomb. Yeah, it was a short. But speaking of long field, Hyatt finally got his first 100-yard game. Hopefully, first of many.
What I was talking about, that you guys had a short field on that drive.
It was a long drive, I want to say, from what I can recall. But you're right. It was on a turnover. Yes, it was on a turnover. Yeah.
The fumble, the 20-some yard line or something like that.
Yes.
And you guys scored the touchdown.
Yeah. I don't know, but they had to cross the 40. I want to say it was one of the interceptions. I could be wrong on that. But either way, I think Matt Jones probably played his last game as a Patriot. I don't know how long they're going to hold on to him with that. And then even though when they brought Zappe in, it was really good to see the defense play their ass off, and then have somewhat an offense, compliment them a little bit. And the fact that, a key word I've been preaching, execution. We finally executed plays and did enough to get the win. I mean, it could have easily went the other way, and we could definitely have a different conversation. And we're sitting here at 3-9 rather than 4-8. And again, to me, we're 2 plays away from being 6-6. Again, the what if, if we would have beat the Jets and if we would have beat Buffalo, we'd have a whole different conversation, and we would be in the hunt as well for a playoff spot. So I'm glad we got the win. I know a lot of Giants fans aren't, but you got to take these wins when you can get them. And I'm more concerned about week to week than what's going to happen in April, because one draft pick is not going to fully change this whole franchise around. And on a lighter note, the question about the quarterback position, Shane had a press conference, State of the Giants on Monday. The expectation is when Jones is healthy, he's our guy. Any Giants fans out there that's listening to this, I would say go to Giants.com, check out Shane's press conference, and also find out what Dable and Wink was really arguing about, and it was a slice of pizza. But now I want to know if there was pineapple on it. You know me. I gotta find out. I gotta find that out. But all is well. We're on a bye. I have no idea what I'm going to do this weekend. I'm not telling Mama Boss, because if she finds out that we're on a bye, we're going grocery shopping, and I hate grocery shopping. So that's my story.
There.
Sticking to it.
There you go.
So you guys win this, and I'm hearing talk that the boy wonder, who still lives with mommy, and gets his clothes folded and his bed made and all this other stuff, could possibly be the heir apparent.
So listen, I'm cool with that, because I live the same life he's living, although it's my wife that does everything for me. I mean, I tell everybody I wear the pants in this household. She just picks them out for me. That's the only.
Well, I'll tell you, being Italian, mamismo is a real thing.
Yes.
And if you don't know what mamismo is, for all those people that are not Italian, first off, I know you want to be, but secondly, mamismo is the fact when an adult male Italian boy, child, is still attached at the teat, as they would say, and still has mommy do it. That is a big Italian thing, and old school Italian parents would still act that way, I'm sure. So I don't know how many generations they've been here, the DeVito family, but it's not surprising. Like, if this guy's name was Smith and he still lived with mom, it'd be a funnier joke, I think. But the fact that this guy's Italian makes me understand completely where he's coming from. You know what I mean? So
the way you explain the Italian mother is the exact way a Greek mother is. So just want to throw that out for tit for tat. No pun intended.
But anyways, he's there. How do you feel about the fact that you're the leader of your team right now still goes home to mommy?
He's winning games. I could care less. And I'm not going to be a hypocrite, because look, my wife picks out my clothes. She makes my dinners. She does all that for me. All I got to worry about is go to work and come home. So I am not going to be a hypocrite. Good for him. Save as much money as you can, because the NFL career is 3 years average, and then figure that mess out when you get out of the league. Good for him. And to me, it speaks a lot about the love of family. I love family. I'm a huge family guy, and the fact that he still loves his parents enough to live with them. And granted, he's only making minimum wage playing in the NFL, like $4.25 an hour, living in Jersey. No, I'm kidding, of course. But the fact that he still loves his family, that says a lot about a person. Period.
Hey, listen. I will say this. My thought is that now that she's like the head mom, the head mother of
Mhm.
the team, now all of a sudden they're going to be eating spaghetti, like homemade spaghetti and meatballs and stuff like that. All of a sudden she's going to be feeding the team, especially since he lives 10 minutes away. Hey, mom, I'm going to bring the team over. We're coming over to come eat. Hey,
I'm
that's why.
jealous.
That's why they're going like this all the time. Then mange. Did you eat? Eat. Mange.
I'm
Mange.
I'm a little I'm upset I'm not getting a plate. And I love the connection that him and Barkley are having. And they say it all day, like Jersey, like Jersey strong. And I just love the moxie and the swag that he's bringing to the team. And it helps that we're winning. And he's going to have a big test when we come off the bye, against Green Bay in MetLife. And hopefully we can get another dub under his belt. So, but the question is now if he's going to start or is Tyrod going to start?
How much is your mental telepathy going to have to take part into that win or loss?
Ask me that next week, because right now I'm resting my manifestation so I can have
Until
it
game day.
Yeah, exactly. So I can build it up towards game day. I mean, it was that game. To be fair, the Patriots game. I had that feeling that we were going to win that game, and this season there was not. I mean, of course, I felt that way with the Commanders, but this was one of those games that we had to win, and I'm glad that we did. And hopefully, we can stack a couple more before it's over and said and done with.
Well, hey, listen.
And the fact that the defense stood
got
up.
all excited.
Well, the fact that the defense played as well as they did without Dexter with a hamstring injury, that was impressive. Thibodeau showed out. McKinney showed out. Who else? Banks got their pick. I mean, everybody. This was a definition of a team win. And
so then
it's
let
kind
me
of
ask
what
you
you want
this
to
question. I want to ask this question to you because
Okay.
2 years ago, while we were at the draft, you guys had two picks and you picked Thibodeau and Neal.
Mm-hmm.
And what are your thoughts so far on those two picks? And if you could do it again, looking back, playing the the Wednesday morning quarterback now,
Right.
obviously because we're way past Monday.
Right.
Would you do the same two picks?
So I'll start with Thibodeau. By far, yes. His production may not show in numbers, but when you see the impact that he plays on the field, of course, with a combination of Williams, who got traded to Seattle, but when you had Williams, Dex, and Thibodeau on the field, it was a dynamic, and of course Simmons too. I'm glad that we got Thibodeau, and now with Neal, unfortunately, there was some regression this year. And I think that's a question I would have to answer, maybe year 4. Because I think when I saw the highlights from Alabama, I wanted Neal. And Shane said the same thing. Neal can play the position. He knows that he can play better. And I'm quoting Shane by saying this. So I think, we got to play this season out and see what Neal can do in the future. So yes, to answer your question and not make it a long-winded answer, yes, and yes. And it's all about potential. Let's see what else Neal can do. I need to, I was told last night on my show, I need to watch more film on him to kind of give him a fair analysis. And I'm going to take that challenge on and do so. But as of right now, for what I've seen, he could definitely play better. And I know he feels he can play better. And that's just my 2 cents.
Okay. So I wanted to be able to talk about that and get it in, and you got it in a nice, concise time. I appreciate that.
I tried. I tried. Don't expect that all the time. Don't expect that all the time.
Well, and just to touch on that a little bit more, and that's the crazy thing about us, fans being on the outside of the game as comparison to what the coaches and trainers and everyone else sees is that while we as fans want to get certain, players because of the names, because of the positions, we don't get the insight that these coaches do, that these
Right.
scouts do. And, what we see on TV in comparison to what they see in person is just totally, night and day. And going back to what you were saying, year 4, where we have to look at it, that takes it to where he's okay. He's on that
Gabe is
option.
saying, yeah.
And, that's when he can make his breakout, because he knows that check's coming up. And it's just really hard as fans to be, as spot on as these coaches. So if the coaches aren't seeing it and, from the outside, we have to go with what they're saying.
Well, and those 2 picks were the consensus picks. I mean, so
Exactly.
it's everybody was saying that those 2 picks should have been the picks. So the
Yep.
fact that, because I said that they were going to pick a quarterback, and in hindsight, maybe they should have.
I don't. What quarterback was then in that draft? I don't. Well, I'll tell you what. I do want to expand on what Gabe. Shout out Gabe. Put on there. Now, when Gabe made that, Gabe. Okay, let me back up. So Neil was asked, how do you feel about your critics? And he made a comment about, the person that makes those comments. I'm gonna paraphrase a little bit. Flip burgers. Spend their time flip burgers or whatever. And then he says, I'm a lion and you don't listen to blah, whatever. He did give an apology after that. And some can say, which I can't disagree with, a backhanded apology. This is what happens when you're on a losing team. This is what happens when, he's speaking out of frustration. And, he knows he's not playing well. And the team isn't playing well. And I refuse to criticize someone in their act of weakness, but I will, if they get a chance to have a second chance, to see what they do with that second chance and how they'll be on it. So, it's unfortunate, and we as fans, we just gotta move on from it. Not to say Gabe's not wrong for bringing it up, because it's going to sting, and he will forever be known as the person criticizing someone for flipping. He said flipping hot dogs. You roll the hot dogs. You flip burgers. You don't,
Well, and going again into that is, one of the best stories of what you're talking about, perseverance, struggling, frustration, was Troy Aikman. Aikman, to be drafted by the Dallas Cowboys when he did, and have Coach Landry at the time. And then, the following year, get a coach, after going that many losses in his first year, and he, the second year wasn't any better.
Right.
And it's exactly where you're saying the third, fourth year, he's finally, fallen into that realm of what he can do and what he thinks he can do. And today's players, they need to learn from the history of those players, saying, you know what, we might be frustrated right now, but let's be frustrated with our team, not with the fan. Let's not be frustrated with the media. Let's be frustrated with what we've got, and let's build this organization. And I can't say enough about what Troy Aikman did with that whole scenario. Even with Jimmy Johnson, he denied Jimmy Johnson twice to be his coach in college.
Right. Yeah.
And then I just hired this guy, and he's like, oh no, and this is when he's already losing. So
and
he's thinking,
I'm pretty sure Troy is very appreciative of not of being in the era of football where he was at, where there's no such thing as social media,
correct,
no camera phones, no,
Oh,
I think
I
even
agree.
cell phones was limited back then, probably, but
Had the cord.
yeah, right. And nowadays everything is caught on camera, recording, and the fact that, like I said, Neil got caught on a weak moment, frustrating moment, and it's just unfortunate.
It happens.
And I think we were one in something, I think, of course, it was before the anyway, we were losing when that comment was made. I'll have to go back and check. But yeah, it wasn't a good.
And that's it.
Good
You
look.
can't hide from these cameras nowadays.
Yeah, and then you got McKinney coming out calling out coaches, and then you got a Gano, our field goal kicker, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna have surgery before the season." So it's like, shut up. Keep some stuff in house. Don't give us reading material.
And that's exactly it. What you're saying right there. Keep it in house.
Yeah.
Keep it in house. And a lot of these guys, it doesn't matter which organization it is, whether the frustration builds or not. Keep it in house.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Philly. Have you heard anything from the Eagles? Any players clowning fans or calling out coaches?
No, but I did hear some Bills clowning fans, and we'll talk about that here. That's a good segue.
Yeah, let's do it.
The Eagles Bills game. At the end, in the fourth quarter of the game, a couple of Bills players had some interaction with fans, Philadelphia fans, who weren't even being that bad, actually. If they were doing stuff that I would do, like they were just pointing and laughing at the players.
Right.
And the players said, "Oh, well, they threatened our family." They showed on camera there was no threats to the family, and the security guards were right there listening the entire time. And the security guards don't deal with that stuff. You know that it's when a player says, "Hey, we want them kicked out." If there was any inkling that had occurred, they would have been removed. There was nothing that occurred like that. They were literally pointing and laughing at them, and one of the players pushed the guy who was pointing and laughing.
He touched the fan?
Yes.
There goes his game check. I'll tell you, hey, push me. My rent got to be paid.
and what's crazy too about that location is because I've sat opposite. You're really not that close to the players,
right?
You know how it bulges out. I mean, I've sat right there behind the Cowboys, and you're really not as close. So it's like,
they had to walk around, and then they left the box. Like that's really the biggest problem. They left the box that they're supposed to stay in.
Yeah.
So they're not supposed to. You can interact with fans if you want to, but listen, you better be wearing your thick skin. Don't be wearing your diapers because you're going to wind up pooping your pants, and that's kind of what happened there.
That's exactly. And when I saw that, I was just like, one, what was said? Two, what was said bad enough to have a player walk that far?
And there was nothing that was said. It was literally laughing and pointing.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, there's a video that made it out today that I was like, wow. When you saw how weak it was like, that's something I would do.
Yeah, really, but there could have been something in between. I mean, there could have been something, but I'm not going to take sides.
I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, I'm not going to take sides, but what I am going to say is that the players should have never had a confrontation like that. Regardless,
correct.
I understand.
He should have never have walked up to him like that.
Correct.
And not only that, it should have been up to the team, because teams do have their handlers right there, making sure that are coordinators that are, keep these guys in check to say, hey guys, you're going over here. The same guys that hold the coach from walking out on the field are the same guys that hold those guys in check. So, that was some frustration on the Bills, but it just shows there has to be more structure in the Bills organizations, apparently.
Gotcha. So did you guys watch the game?
Yeah, I was watching it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I wasn't sure if they would show it in Dallas, but I assumed they would have.
Yeah, they did. They did,
because it was a pretty good game to watch, and it was a very long game. As far as the NFL goes, it was a 4-hour game, and that sucks. It sucks when it's pouring rain the entire time. It's like it was bad enough. This is like the third game in a row that it's rained. Because before the bye week, I think, if I remember, was it warm? I don't remember if it rained or not. I think it rained a little bit. But it was like Kansas City, it rained, and then it rained, and now it's supposed to rain again on Sunday. So people laughing at me that I got to get waterproof makeup. I don't want waterproof makeup. I want to be able to wash it off when I want to wash it off. So, yes.
I think it adds character. I think it adds,
Oh, that
the
end
grit and the
video.
grime of it, everything. I think that,
The end video was perfect, I thought.
yeah,
When we
I
won that
agree.
game, there was nothing better to do than that video. As a mess as I was. The last time I was that messy, I was in MetLife Stadium, and we just won the NFC East after we beat Dallas the week before. And it rained that bad. It rained that bad that day. And I
And
was a mess.
I think that's what also it adds more. I said character to the experience as well. So I got done watching this. Look, I'm going to go outside the box a little bit. I talk so much mess in those indoor football games. Players know better. Players know better. From what I'm seeing, there was no threats to the family, to the whatever. For them to say that, it's, and again, I'm just guessing because I'm not seeing anything about them threatening the families. But
Well,
anyway,
that's exactly why I'm saying that the coaches on the sideline, the coordinators on the sideline they didn't have a grasp on their team, and they should have.
and I think
Right.
that's why Buffalo is 6-6 on the outside looking in the AFC playoffs. So much hype, and also too, think about it. They got so much damn hype all season long, and weren't they called? Wasn't Josh Allen called this year's like Phillip Rivers or something like that, or was that Herbert?
No, that was him.
Yeah. So
That
I mean,
was him.
the expectation is so high, and they fall short every year. So
And that was the thing too, is that they just put too much on him, and he carried too much weight, and I think he's still carrying all that weight.
yeah.
And
And
I hope
he's what kept them in that game.
Yes. Yeah.
He absolutely was the reason why they were that close in that game in the first place.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we
And that's
we
what
did
that's what I'm
have
saying.
to kick a 60-yard field goal. I know.
Now let's talk about that kick. That kick, look, and I hate the Eagles, okay, and I loathe the Cowboys, right? Let's just get that across. But the kick to make that field goal in the rain.
I could have did it.
Shut up. Shut up. No, you couldn't have. No, now I ain't making bets anymore. That's tempting. That's in the rain. In the rain. When he made that kick, I'm like, oh, they got this game. Was I the only one? Okay, I want to ask you guys this. Was I the only one on that touchdown run that I knew they were going to do a quarterback sneak?
Yeah,
was I the only one that knew that?
No, you could see the setup. You could
right?
clearly see it. Oh yeah.
I didn't understand to win the game in overtime.
Win it in overtime. Jalen Hurts when he had the draw.
Oh yeah, well that was the thing. The moment that he did that, they said, Pat, I was listening to the podcast today, the New Heights podcast, and they said Patrick Mahomes. They were watching it on the plane, and Patrick Mahomes yelled out, "Quarterback draw touchdown!" And that's exactly what wound up happening. Quarterback draw touchdown.
I was standing up, and I'm like, he's going to run it in. A pre-snap. Right off the bat. Pre-snap. And did you see how, like, Nick, my son, he was like, the NFL is scripted. The way the Buffalo player, like, slid on the ground. What are you doing?
But the other one, the one on the cornerback that was out on the other receiver, and it was just like, some of it didn't make, but you could see the play open up from the snap, from the lineup.
And again, fucking Philadelphia don't play their best football, but still find a way to get the W.
Which brings us to our weekly games here. Let's start talking about that. We'll talk about the first game first. Obviously, we have the Dallas Cowboys hosting the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are 9-point dog, and it's 47.5 over under.
Oh yeah, I swear it was either yesterday. It was 12 points.
I
I'm not-
saw 9 too.
Yeah, and that's probably today, but I saw it earlier. And yeah, the Cowboys going into this game are just going to be doing what they have been doing. I'm not saying they're going to be on cruise, but what I'm saying is that the first quarter is going to determine a lot. It's going to open up what the defense is doing, Seattle's defense, and then as far as the Cowboys are concerned, they're going to be doing the same thing on the defensive side of the ball. They're just going to be checking out Seattle, see what they've got. You do have an injured quarterback, Geno. You
Yep.
know, he does have that injury. Their running back does have that other injury, that strained oblique, and they're saying, he's not practicing. So I don't think Seattle's going to be at their best, and I'm not saying this is going to be another cruise control, but I think the first quarter is going to be a little bit tight. Second quarter is going to be a little bit tight, but the Cowboys are going to figure things out in the third quarter and start rolling from there. I do think it's going to be a high scoring game, and I do think it's going to be over because of the weapons that Geno Smith has and what we've been allowing through that front line on the defense. So, I mean, I have this one somewhere around the same score, 33-21 Cowboys.
Gotcha. Real quickly, as I'm thinking about this right now, have you heard any word? I know that the middle linebacker from the Colts who got put on waivers came into today to have an interview.
For the
Where?
Cowboys, yeah, for the Cowboys, he had that interview yesterday, and I believe he walked out the door and was on his way to Philly.
Okay, I thought that was today, and then he was going to be out the door to Philly tomorrow, but I don't know that for certain.
Yeah, there's
So
still no deal signed, so I'm pretty sure he was on the plane headed up there to
yeah,
Philly.
my thought is if the Colts got rid of him, and I don't know why the Colts got rid of him, but if he was any bit of a halfway decent player still at the money he was, he would have been not thrown on waivers. Just my
True.
opinion.
Yeah.
So, Sneaky, your thoughts on the Cowboys Seahawks game?
I think I don't know why, but for some reason, I think the lack of a running game that the Cowboys have is going to be exposed in this game. Uh, I know I was going to say Seattle, but I'm going to be real. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say it's going to be a very close game. I can see it, but again, the wild card for me is Geno Smith with his injury. If Drew comes in, you guys got it's a wrap. But that safety that killed us, I can't think of his name. I think his number was number 21 that got the pick 6 from Jones. I think he's going to be a valuable asset. But that being said, I still see like a 27-23 kind of game. I do see a low scoring first half. But one team is going to wear down the other, and I think that's going to be the Cowboys, pulling ahead. So you might want to put this on the calendar, and I'm actually picking the Cowboys, like a 27-24, 27-23 type game.
Well, my thought is that Brett Ripien, who has got to be the son of the quarterback from the Redskins, Mark Ripien,
Oh yeah.
is going to maybe make an appearance in this game, and he's going to throw for 3 touchdowns after both Geno Smith and Drew Lock get hurt. He's going to throw for 3 touchdowns, and he's going to bring this Seattle team back to win this game 30-28. Actually, I don't know. I don't believe that one little bit. Yes,
It's like,
I think that if Geno Smith plays the entire game, that it's going to wind up being a blowout. I think that actually, if he's hurt with Drew Lock coming in, I think that they are closer in ability than people think. And I think that Drew Lock coming in would bring in a little bit of energy. So I wouldn't be surprised to see you guys get up a little bit, Drew Lock get thrown in, and a little bit of energy get put into Seattle. I think it'll be a 31-20 game. So I kind of agree with you a little bit there. I think it'll be an 11 or 10 point game. But I think that the score is going to be that touchdown that puts it away, rather than you guys be so far ahead and they're going to be playing catch up.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a little bit of of both of what you were saying, that it's going to be fairly close, but that touchdown's going to just kind of put you away with the last 6
Pull it away.
minutes,
Yeah.
and then that's going to be the end of it there. So
I think CD is going to have a really good game in this. He's going to pick back where he left off 2 weeks ago.
okay, and the 1:00 game. Since he's not here, we're still going to call it. The Washington Commanders are hosting the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins are giving the Commanders 9.5 and some new benches, and
some hot water.
and the no, they're bringing their own hot water. They're not giving any to them.
Oh, that's right.
And it's over under at 49.5.
Ooh, I got it at 50. On mine.
I got the hook.
Okay.
Ooh. That's why I wanted to talk to Pork Rind to see if they worked out the hot water situation there.
Well, he's not showering there, so he doesn't know.
That's lame.
Right. He might want actual water and not sewage water. That's, that should be a concern. I'll take this one. Look, this is going to be like a 34-10 game. I'm about to say Washington. Oh, my God. No. 72-13. You know your history. I like that. Yeah, it's going to be like a 30-10 grudge. I mean, just they're going to have the second string.
Who's the backup quarterback for Miami?
There we go. We'll find out Sunday.
Okay.
We'll find out Sunday. Yeah, Miami definitely.
I'm looking right now. It is Mike White.
There we go.
There you go. I just have a feeling Washington's going to play a little bit tougher at home with Miami, depending on the weather. You're saying it's going to rain there in Philly Sunday, so that's pretty much the same weather there in Washington. I don't think it's going to be a superb blowout because of the footing and the natural grass situation up there. So, but I do see Miami going in there, and I do see them winning. I really don't see Washington doing too much, especially with the defensive coordinator being fired this week. Right. So I know, we all know Rivera's playing for his job. I mean, we saw what Frank Reich did with his job. He took over the game plays, 2 weeks ago against the Cowboys, and here we are this week, and he's gone. So I think Rivera knows he's on the hot seat. So, but I just don't think he has that extra to push him over. But I've got Miami going here 34-7, if that, 34-9.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't see touchdowns.
No.
Miami's got a pretty good defense. My thought is that they'll win this game handily. Will Mike White play? I don't know that answer. I think it's going to probably. The one thing that Washington should be able to do is Washington does not let many up over the top. And that would bode well for them, especially against Miami. So I don't think Miami's going to score as many points. The fact that it's only a 49.5, my thought is that this should be somewhere around 53, 54 points, which makes me think that they think Washington's defense is going to come to play. Yeah. And that makes me think that it's going to be like a 27-16 game. 27-13, are they going to kick field goals? I mean, kicking 3 field goals means that you're going back and forth a little bit, and I don't know that they're going to be able to do that. So it might be like 27-13 or even 27-10, but they're not going to score. I don't think they're going to score 30 points.
Yeah, and then with the new defensive coordinator coming in, or whoever's taking over that play calling, I think Pork Rind's actually going to see what he's been wanting to see all season, and that's the blitz. On that kind of field, everything else, you got no footing, you got everything else. If it's supposed to rain there, I'm not sure, but I think it's exactly what Pork Rind's been wanting all season with the blitz. So yeah, you can see that coming down.
Out. And then the last game that will be played this week for anybody in the NFC East, we have the 49ers coming all the way over to Philadelphia in a rematch, is what they're calling it, of the NFC Championship game. And the 49ers are favored in this game by 3 points, and the over-under being 47.5.
Oof, that's scary. From a betting position. Go for it.
I don't
Sneaky.
know the odds on what it is when a team with a better record at home is the dog, but I tend to feel like that doesn't favor the 49ers. When you have a home dog like this tells me that everybody's betting the 49ers, and when the public is betting one way, usually goes the other way.
What jerseys y'all wearing? What jerseys y'all wearing?
Normal jerseys. So no Kelly Greens or anything like that. That being said, I thought that last week I thought it was a trap game. And it went the exact way that I thought it would. I didn't think that we should have won that game. It took like a miracle kick, a 59, 60-yarder kick in the rain to get it to that point. And the last time we had a kick like that, something similar of epic proportions, we went on to win the Super Bowl. That kick was against the Giants. This is a similar situation. We get the kick, we win the game. Now we go into San Francisco, and this was a game that everybody had circled. The team had circled. Their team had circled. I think this is going to be an epic battle. This is going to be the very first playoff game of the year. That's what I look at this game being. And I think that the Eagles pull it out again. And I think the score is going to be like 23-21. Maybe 22. 23-22, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of interesting with that spread. That's why I'm saying it's scary from a standpoint of betting. So if you're a betting person out there, good luck. Have at it. Because that's a weird one to be going. But you're saying it's going to rain again. San Francisco's coming across the field or across the country. It's a 325 game, so 425 there. It's going to be interesting. The injury with that safety is huge. I mean, that kid was all over the backfield. He was blocking. Then you've got Brown back there who be covered. But on the flip side, you've got Deebo Samuel. So I mean, it's going to be an offensive game more than defense. I think it's going to see what we got going on, and it's going to be a close game. But I think there's going to be a 3-point spread with the Eagles pulling it out just like they did this last game, and I think it's going to be fought in the trenches. But just depending on that field situation, how these guys are going to be playing, it's going to be nasty out there.
Yeah, I don't know how bad the rain's going to be, but I know that the field was pretty bad because they had been played on it the day before with the Temple game. So it was bad, and then it rained. So This is going to be I don't know how bad this rain's going to be, but
hopefully not too bad. But it's going to be fun to watch.
Sorry about that, guys. I was having some technical difficulties, apparently. I'm assuming we're still talking about the Philadelphia 49er game, right?
Correct. And it's your turn.
Okay.
So we didn't even notice you were gone.
Right. And I only got less than a minute. I'm going to go Eagles. 33-30.
Gotcha. So he's got it going over and over heavy.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be a big game.
It is going to be. It's probably going to be the highlight game of the week. So tomorrow we get to watch Dallas. The Giants, we don't get to watch. Nobody's watching Washington anymore, so it doesn't matter. We'll see that on the highlights.
Wait, I got one PSA. One PSA, and I'm good. We are no longer the bottom of the NFC East, baby. I wish Pork Rind was here for me to say that. And yes, I'm not celebrating it. I'm relieved. There we go. I'm good.
There you go.
So thank you for hanging with us on our 100th episode, and we'll be back next week. And as always,
Let's go
How about them
Giants.
Cowboys?
go Birds.
Hail to the Redskins.
Yeah.